it's me with another art vlog. I just wanted to let you know before this vlog starts that I talk a lot in it. Kind of just have like the raw emotions of processing the things that happen. Who am I kidding? It's a rant. And then it goes back into the vlog again, and later on I get pretty philosophical on my musings about AI and art. But the reason that I'm saying this is that if you are here for the particular theme of the title, there are chapters to help you navigate the parts that you are interested in. And if you're here just to hang out for the entirety of the artist vlog diaries thing, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I hope that you enjoy. I'm gonna show you the roundup for today. 2 mac and cheese frogs, 2 morning coffee frogs. There's fuzzy slippers. Oh my goodness. An ultra mini print of At Home in the Void. Look how small and crispy the details are. I am absolutely blown away. And a miniature origami crane from the Impossibly Tiny collection. I almost entirely forgot. There's also a chunky frog sculpture going out into the world. So we have to grab one from the colony. This is the one. This is the chunky frog sculpture that has summoned itself to make its way to its new collector. All right, let's get you all packed up. Safety test. What's today's date?
11/14.
Thanks.
How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one. In my last vlog, I touched upon how basically when I begin having hope again, something really bad will just come out of the woodwork, out of nowhere, and like totally derail me. And that's exactly what happened again. One of my art projects, art businesses that I have is I make tiny miniature paintings. And I don't know if that is something that is like becoming more popular or more trendy to do, where people are like, ooh, that's like a good business idea and it's easy to do and it's an easy way to make money. And like, look, you can probably tell where I'm going with this. This morning, I logged on to my Etsy because I also sell my miniature art there. And look at this. Does that look familiar to you? What about that one? Yeah, that's an Etsy shop that just recently started selling miniature paintings like that. And every single miniature painting in their shop is either a direct copy of my own tiny art, or it is a direct copy of other tiny artists that I have seen on Etsy and like on Instagram and stuff. And I'm actually pretty sure that they're using AI. Like they're not even painting. I think they might be taking other artists' art, putting it into a prompt or something, and then having it be changed ever so slightly through the AI so they can like use it to sell. But you know where the designs are coming from. I'll show you an example. So this is my painting, the one that I made years ago, and this is the copy. Here's another one. This is my original painting. That's the one in this shop. This is a really good example where you can see where the AI was trained directly off of the image of my painting. Like a lotus is a lotus. It looks like a lotus because that's something in nature. But this is my original painting, and you can see that the same shape is mimicked in this. The way that the center petal comes straight down and how it has the same angles of the main part. Then if you go really, really close, really hard to see on my phone, forgive me, but if you get really close on the screen, you can see the difference. The lines themselves are digital. They are not real paint strokes. It's really hard to explain if you're not an artist, but as an artist, you know what a brushstroke looks like versus a digital thing. I've seen this type of thing on places like Etsy with increased frequency throughout the past year. I've seen so many shops like this opening up on Etsy where the business framework is exactly that, selling these miniature paintings. Turns out you can't report them on Etsy. Etsy won't even let you acknowledge to them that somebody is taking your work and profiting from it. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. But a few months ago, I made a Substack post about it because it was it just blew my mind. Came across somebody who literally created an entire website that was a copy of my miniature art website. And I think they were actually painting their own artwork that they were selling, but they were using my designs as their references that they were painting. As an artist, you know when somebody is directly copying a design that you have made. The ship in a bottle, for example, I talked about this in that post. I used my own ability to mental Photoshop multiple image references that I see so I can create my own design, mixing and matching multiple photo references. It's kind of like a mental AI system, how AI combines different images to make something new. My brain can do that. When I look at my own artwork where I do something like that, I know which parts of the painting, which details came from what photos and how I mentally merged them together to create the final artwork that is the art. So when I see other people putting out images that have the exact same details and orientation of what I mentally created, they don't know that, but I do. Okay. I didn't mean to talk so much about this. I guess I don't really know what I expected. This is something that upsets me. Yeah, it sucks. I think it especially sucks so much because art is my work. Making a financial living in the world through something that you pour your time, your energy, your unique individual skills that you have developed over a lifetime. That is what I do to make my way in the world. And like I mentioned in my previous vlog, right now, things are really tough. Things are really difficult in life right now. When I am able to do what I love, to make art that other people come across and they love and they enjoy, and they like it so much that they want to purchase it for themselves and they want to support me as an artist, that is gotta be one of the best things for me in this life. Also a way to support my life. I'm not going to get into it, but I don't have very many options for making a stable income for myself in this life. It's just the circumstances that I was given. So the fact that I am able to pour myself into something like art, have spent years designing it into something that can be a business and can give back to my life and support myself, to see other people coming across everything that I pour myself into, taking it, just see it and they think, yes, I can use that for myself. The person who copied my website literally copied and pasted everything on my website. The listings, the descriptions, the site design, the policies, the shipping information. When I see this and I see these people getting hundreds of sales and people writing reviews being like, wow, so original, so unique and original, and I love it so much and I had to have it. In times when I am really struggling, but I'm showing up every single day to try and build what I care about so much and what I dream of, that's challenging enough. But then when I go online on those things that I am building and that I love, and I see stuff like this, it's really difficult. And it is so difficult to know that there's nothing really that I can do about it. It's the nature of the world that we live in right now. It is so easy to take something that you see from somebody else, their entire structure that they have built of something good and something that works, take that and use it for one's own benefit. And I see people doing it all the time. It is so disappointing and frustrating. But look, I don't want advice. Have gone through my options. I have looked into what is required to create, legal copyrights and trademarks and all of that. And it's like, look, like I'm a small artist. Like I can't be putting so much of my time and energy into something like that when I know that it is going to continue happening, because we live in a culture of mimicry. We live in a culture in which the number one priority is quick profit from whatever you can grab. Even if you have good intentions, I'm not looking for advice. I'm just letting you know where I'm at, the things that I'm struggling with, the things that I know so many other creative people are struggling with right now. To me, it just feels so ethically wrong, and I see it all the time, and it is rapidly increasing as people are getting comfortable with how easy it is. Take things, use it as one's own, and then profit wildly from it. I really didn't mean to talk so much about this, but like, I guess I'm processing it out loud. I don't really know a solution, like objectively. I'm not looking for an objective solution because I know, like I said, this is something that is a tale as old as time and is just going to continue. Okay, so what's the point? Why am I talking about this? I guess it's just to get it out. Sometimes I'm like, man, screw it. Why should I pursue something that other people are just taking, objectively succeeding more with? Do you know how soul-crushing that is? Okay, that's it. That's why I'm talking about this. I'm getting it out. I have to just expel it from my system and let it go and move on. And I have to move on by just continuing to do what I love and just trust that doing what I love is going to be enough. I have to trust that things will work out. Even if it feels like everything I've built can just be taken away in an instant. You know, that type of thing makes your efforts feel worthless, pointless. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep moving forward. I'm going to keep making the things that I love. Just put my head down and keep working. But yeah, things are sucking right now. Things are like really sucking right now. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm going to keep moving, but like things really are sucking right now. A few hours have passed since my rant that you just witnessed, and I have been musing. So I'm thinking about something that I said about AI and being very ethically offended. Specifically, I was talking about my own ability to basically do the same thing that AI does. Like when I look at multiple photo references, to combine them in my mind and then make a painting or a piece of art through that mental merging and combining. That is what AI does. And I thought to myself, oh no. Why is it that I, as a human, can do the exact same process that AI is doing, but when people use AI, it's wrong, whereas if I'm doing it in my mind, it's considered okay? You could make the case that regardless of whether a human is doing it or a human is using AI to do it, it's still the same process of taking things that already exist and like merging it together to create something new out of it. How am I going to defend my own passionate opinions on this matter? And I was like, wait a minute. These are distinctly different things. And I think that the distinction is extremely important right now. I'm going to muse with you about that, if you will, because gee willikers, it is important to me. And I think it should be important to you too, whether you're an artist or a consumer, or if you're one of those diabolical people who are looking for things to use for your own profit. Listen up. So, if my brain and somebody using AI to create a piece of art that did not previously exist in the world due to its own unique design, both of those are essentially the same objective process. How do we differentiate between them? Well, I believe that it is the human transformation of life into art. That is what makes art art. Its inherent value is the experiential human connection, that transformation that happens through that experience, which involves like our own unique point of view, and then also the developed skills that we have to turn our point of view into something that can then be shared and connected with other humans who may also be experiencing similar things. I am emphasizing human experience because I think that is, no, I know that that is the distinction. Because if somebody sees something that a human has created in the world, whether it be art, some sort of creative project or business, if somebody sees something like that in the world and thinks, I want that too, that particular thing, but I can't use that particular thing because it's illegal and ethically wrong, so I will take that thing and put it into AI so it will modify it for me just enough for me to be able to profit from it. That's not a human experience. I mean, okay, everything's a human experience, but that is not a human experience of creative process, of transforming inspiration into something tangible, to share a connection with other people through that experience. Do you understand what I am saying? I'm getting all hot. I'm really passionate about this. I don't know if it's coming out right. I'm also trying to paint, so I don't know if that's helping or hindering this verbal communication process. Anyway, another part of it, and maybe this is even like the foundational part of it, is that to be an artist of any kind and to make things that live in the world with you, with other people, just the act of creativity itself as we know it as humans. That is something that takes difficult work. Difficult, intentional, committed work to learn the skills, how to do it, how to refine what you see in your mind, like that ability I was talking about to be able to use my brain kind of like an AI system. I've spent my entire life practicing how to get better at that, how to be the best that I possibly humanly can, not only to make art that is like objectively good and like successful, but also just like the enjoyment of it. The process of the difficult and challenging work of what it takes to be a creative person, especially in our modern world where you also have to know not just how to translate what you see into art, but also to translate that art that you make into something that can be a stable business and support oneself and like mean something to other people in the world that we live in. Man, that is like really, really challenging work. But I love it because I'm an artist. Because I love the experiential process of creating. It is the process of making art that makes art art. From the experience of inspiration to the experience of desiring to transform that inspiration into something that you can connect with other people's experience through. Most importantly, that experience of fulfillment, of taking on that commitment to pursue it, to develop it, to make it. That is art. And AI, while I could go down like a very existential rabbit hole about potential consciousness that AI does possess and consciousness itself being something that we don't fully understand, but regardless of wherever that rabbit hole leads, human consciousness is human consciousness and human art is human art. And I think that that is what we are experiencing a lot of existential creative warfare with. I don't like using that word. Forgive me. If you have an alternative that isn't as apocalyptic, please do share. But it gets my point across. Whew. Okay, today brought me here. Refining my perspective on something that I think is extremely important right now and is only going to keep becoming more important. To think about, to talk about, to follow through on in our behaviors. It's very existential stuff, but it is real. If being an artist in modern life has taught me anything, it's that things are really weird out there. And there's no going back. But there is the potential to think creatively about it. I mean, it's what we do best. So we might as well talk about it. That's how I feel about it. I'm curious what your points of view are on this. I'm currently in the process of developing my point of view on AI as a creative tool as a whole, and I am not entirely against it, but I think that the context is so important, and we can only learn that context as it continues to develop. But that's how I feel very strongly about it in this context. The difference between a human doing the work to create something based on everything they see, and humans using AI to slightly modify other people's creations to profit from without doing any of the creative work, not having any of the creative experience, because you're not creating anything. Maybe the AI is having a grand old time making that art, but you aren't. I'm getting hot in the cheeks again. I'm gonna chill. I've said what I need to say. I've gotten existential. My work here is done. I'm gonna finish this painting. This is where I'm at. I was getting all rigid with myself and was like, I can't post this vlog until I complete the painting and have the entirety of the process of this painting as the vlog. And then I was like, wait a second. I'm an artist. My art is my art. These vlogs are my diary as an artist. It's an ongoing thing. This is an ongoing thing. And I'm trying something completely new. It's actually the mix between drawing and painting. This is kind of like my more natural style that I am like experimenting and exploring again. I don't know. It's like halfway done. I'm hoping to incorporate a lot of the miniature skills that I've learned over the years. And then also the frogs. Yeah, this is like an experimentation. This is also an experimentation of that style. It's like a mix of drawing, colored pencils, watercolor, and acrylic. There's acrylic in here too. So it's kind of just like a hodgepodge. Is that the right term? What the heck does hodgepodge mean? Yeah, this is me breaking out of my rigidity of being like, these have to contain the completeness of the art. No, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to share my life as an artist in the most casually, like, honest, expressive way possible through these. This is where I'm at right now. That's today's vlog from a very human artist and the process in which human artists go through, which I guess is pretty fitting for the theme of AI in the first place. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. Still haven't figured out outros. Okay, bye.